Hi everyone, welcome to Aldo Meets Podcast. Just a big shout out, obviously, for the Hotel Anfield, because without the hotel and Peter, we wouldn't be here. And headline sponsor, Budweiser. I do like Mal. Mal is a nice lager, to be fair. Beyond Hospitality, big sponsors. Onyx Real Estate, RW Invest, Kingdom Plumbing, Northwest Fencing, Bell Lamp, Junction Solicitors, STS Sovereign Transport Services, and all the proceeds the charities go to now. And now we're with others, or now we're for others, sorry, and the Silly Goose Foundation. So thanks to everyone.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was set far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 27 of Aldo Meets. Special one for me personally. You know, me mate. Doesn't need no introduction. I'm not even going to introduce.
He says that to all of them. I remember when Igor Biscan was here, Jimmy Char. He said the same thing for everybody. Favorite player ever, favorite Liverpool player ever.
And then he has to look up the name.
The old mucker. Hey, that's
Very
Maradona. Diggers.
Better than Madonna.
That's it, Maradona, not Madonna. Now all the best, pal.
Good to see
Johnny
you, mate.
Barnes.
Good to see you.
Tell us what you're up to, mate.
Living our best life, aren't we? Now doing all bits and pieces. Look after the grandkids. My daughter's having a baby the next day.
Tell
or
them
two.
how many children and grandkids you got.
7 kids. You're laughing already, aren't you? You feel sorry for me. 4 grandkids, 3
not
big
bad.
ones, and I had a grandson 2 months ago, and I've got another granddaughter coming today or tomorrow, so that'll be 5.
Class.
You got grandkids as well, haven't you?
4.
You
Four,
probably got
mate, yeah.
great grandkids, yeah? Oh, no, not all yet.
Could be close there, mate. Could be close. So what are you up to then? Go ahead.
Nothing much, mate. Just living my best life, you know, doing a lot of media work, doing a lot of talks, trying to get things done. Come to watch Liverpool.
Still do bits for Liverpool.
Still do bits and pieces for Liverpool. Yeah. I still work. We all do, don't we?
Then we
Not
have
full time like I was before, but now I'm just doing like everybody else now.
we have what is it, every 6 weeks little meet up, don't we, lad?
Well, we do have a little meet up.
You have a little meet-up.
I'm a little bit disappointed actually, because there's a game coming up against Dortmund, and they had to make a substitution, not on the pitch but off the pitch.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe, I thought after my performance as the assistant manager, I might have made it, but Jurgen's now come in, so someone had to drop out between me, Aldo, and Kenny. And unfortunately,
Have you had the elbow?
yeah, you're still assistant there, aren't you? You do know. Stop pretending you know. But let me tell you, it's so funny because hey, listen.
Wind up my sails.
But listen, I didn't even know about the game. You know what I mean? It comes up and you go along, and I think that they felt a bit guilty. I think from what was his name from the foundation? Wasn't it? Yeah, he felt it. So he phoned me because obviously it was going to come out.
Yeah.
About who was on the staff and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I got a call. And he goes, I'm from Tokyo. He goes, I just want to let you know before I come down. He goes, there's a game the Dortmund game, and everyone can, and everyone can't, and the thing is the bench, and it's not a lot of, I said, what are you saying? What's his name? From London. Matt. Yeah, Matt Parrish, and he's going, I go, Matt, you're paying a lot of money for this phone. What are you trying to say? He goes, and everybody can't, and we just wondered, and there's Kenny's got, Jurgen's coming back, and he's the assistant, and there's all those, so I said, so what? You don't want me to be assistant, but if you don't mind. I said I didn't know the game.
I didn't know.
You did know. You told me that Aldo said, shut up. He said, we sent a phone Aldo and said, we want Barnesy and Kenny to be, and Aldo goes, no, I'm the assistant. So Jim Barnesy. But I've got to go in the boardroom now. That's okay.
Well, that's even better. You can have a few sherbets and some nice bit of scram.
Shall we swap then?
To be fair, I don't mind. And then for you, mate.
They said Aldo insisted. In fact, even Jurgen nearly didn't make it because Aldo wanted to be on the bench. You know what I'm up to.
Sorry,
that's okay.
I'm sorry to hear that. You
That's
will be
okay.
missed on the bench. I'll give you a wave up in there. You have your little JD.
Little Jack Daniels.
Little Jack Daniels.
Some
Little wave and all
prawn
that.
sandwich brigade, you know me.
Yeah, that's the one, pal.
I mean, that leads us nicely into the first question, which was actually around before we touch on your playing days, which have been, well documented and very exciting, about your manager time. you know, at Celtic, Jamaica.
So 1 second, is that why you said that they give me the elbow from being the assistant manager?
No, you know, 8 months at Celtic, it's not nothing.
No,
you
but
know?
not nothing. You got
A
your phone?
huge club.
You got your phone?
Yes.
Okay, you can Google while we talk?
Yes.
Okay, you Google. I mean, we want you to talk as well. But just to talk about Celtic, I want you to Google John Barnes win percentage at Celtic while we talk. And so obviously what happened?
Just briefly, the question, John, just before you, feeling that you weren't given a fair chance, question mark?
Well, the thing about it is that, you know, in
that
Scotland...
might tally in with looking at the win percentage.
So what happens in Scotland is that if you're a manager Celtic or Rangers and you finish second and you don't win, you failed.
Yeah.
Which you understand. But at that moment in time, Rangers were ahead of us in terms of spending more money than Michael Moulds and Michael Laudrup, and they had players who had, you know, we had Henrik Larsson until he broke his leg. So it was very close up until Christmas. But the harmony was never right. From I got there are people who didn't think that I should have been there because I'd done nothing. So as much as we won 11, drew 1, lost 1 in the first 13 matches, 3 points behind Rangers, I was being questioned all the time about what decisions you made and stuff. So I thought, well, if I go through a dodgy spell, you know, and then once Larsson broke his leg and Lambert broke his jaw, then that was it. So obviously we were going to finish second. And then what happened? We lost in a cup match to a team in the league below us. I had to say that before I told you what the team was.
Away from home?
At home. But it was Inverness Cali Thistle. Now, Inverness Cali Thistle were in the league below us. So because they were, obviously no one's heard of them, they felt that it was this non-league team or whatever. So obviously that was the last straw. So, you know, but from even when we were doing well, November, December, and we're 4 points behind Rangers, I knew it wouldn't last because you can see the press and the fans, they were unhappy because of all kinds of situations. The players weren't happy either because it was a situation whereby Rangers were spending a lot of money, Celtic weren't. So you had players who they had on long contracts who weren't earning a lot of money, so they were complaining. They thought when Kenny came, we're going to spend lots of money. So it was just an unhappy time. And of course, when I went to Tranmere, I was only there for a few weeks because Aldo messed it up for everybody.
How about Jamaica, though, John? I mean,
well, Jamaica, yeah. Well, with Jamaica, I mean, Jamaica was fantastic. We never lost a game. We had 11 matches, won 7, drew 4. We never lost one match. We qualified for the Caribbean Cup. The Gold Cup in America. We won the Caribbean Cup. Then we're going to the Gold Cup. And what happened was we were going to the Gold Cup and my contract ended just before the Gold Cup started. And then I said, are you going to renew my contract? And Tranmere came in at the time. And I said to the president of the JFF, obviously we're going to the Gold Cup. My contract's finished before the Gold Cup, but I'll go to the Gold Cup. Am I going to get another contract? Because we not lost the game. We'd won 7, drawn 3 after the Gold Cup. And they didn't want to give me a contract after the Gold Cup, so I had to say yes to Tranmere. Obviously, I would have stayed with Jamaica. Now, why that was happening was because the players I was picking, I had an issue with the president of the Jamaican Football Federation, who owned a football club himself, and his players for a club called Portmore United. He wanted his players to be in the national team because the only way players who play in the national team, the only way players in Jamaica can get a contract abroad is if you play 75% of the games in the national team. Now his team wasn't particularly good, so I wasn't picking his players, but he needed his players to go to the Gold Cup because then they get exposure to be seen. And because I wasn't taking his players to the Gold Cup, that ended. And that's when Theodore Whitmore, Tapper, you know Theodore Whitmore, he was at Tranmere, he then took over. Have you got it?
I have got it.
What is it?
66%.
66%.
Your win percentage.
No. Just stop there.
Okay.
Now Google 66%. Google Steven Gerrard's win percentage at Rangers.
Just while you do that,
Google that. Forget anything else.
Just for context, Jock Steens at Celtic was 70%.
Yeah, and I was the
Brendan Rodgers 68%. Gordon Strachan 65%.
See the difference, you know.
So the perception when you lose matches
in Glasgow is you got to realise Glasgow Rangers it's like religious. You know, we all know in the politics.
It's worse than Liverpool. Because it's a religious.
It is actually religious.
Steven Gerrard's at Rangers 65%,
and he was a success.
Yeah.
I was a favourite.
You were there at probably the wrong time when Rangers had, as you said before, had probably the better players. You got what you could out to your players. But the Celtic fans will not appreciate that, with all due, because if you don't finish above Rangers, it's like...
But you know what? But even that wasn't the issue, because the issue was not so much that, because you know fans are going to be like that anyway. But it's the players. Yeah. The players were unhappy. From the first couple of weeks, the players were unhappy because me and Kenny had come on. What then happened? We signed El Berkovich. So El Berkovich was on 20 grand a week. And then we gave Henrik Larsson a new contract. The other players Alan Stubbs, they put him on 4 or 5 grand a week.
Yeah.
And they wanted more money, but they had him on long contracts. And it was like, so all of a sudden it's like, well, why are we going to get contracts? And when they started to do well up until Christmas, so money plays a big problem. And I said, either give everyone 20 grand a week. So we had a big issue.
Yeah, but what about the player that you brought? His name was Shite.
Well, once again, Shide, it's a D. Shide. Once again,
Shite.
Celtic.
You called him Shite.
Yeah. So Celtic want to make.
Sorry, mate.
So Celtic wanted to make this statement. We're going to sign a Brazilian, and they said to me, we're going to make a statement. Sign a Brazilian. He's a Brazilian international. Centre back. SHIED. Shide. I mean, it's like super Cali go ballistic. Celtic are atrocious. I always had the greatest headlines of newspapers. Barnes signed Shite again. So they said to me, we're going to sign this Brazilian player. I said, listen, £4 million, a lot of money at that particular time, coming from wherever, Botafogo, is a big statement for Celtic. We're going to sign him. I said, I don't know who he is. So if you want to sign him, because, so if you're asking me, do I think we should sign him because I've seen him play and he's a good player, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't know because I've never seen him. But if you want to make a statement, because I want to make a statement, we're signing big players, international players, signed him. He played one game, then he had his appendix out, and he never played again. So, of course, he never played at all. So he had one game, and that was it. So it was a bit of a disaster, but there you go. That's life.
It's an experience managing such a massive club.
I mean, bearing in mind how easy
massive
this
club.
first question was, I'm going to follow up with another very simple question. So, first of all, do you miss coaching, or you sort of, is that like,
no, listen, I would love to do it.
Mind
I would love to do it. I would love to because, but of course, if you look at the way football is now in terms of the ability, not just your ability, but what opportunity you be given. And if you're given an opportunity, what is the reality of the thought process behind, okay, John Barnes is at Swindon Town. Oh, it must be great because John Barnes is here. We're going to spend loads of money if you don't play. Well, like when I went to Tranmere, they expected us all of a sudden to be great because John Barnes is here, but it's not because it's Tranmere. We've got the second lowest wage bill in the league, and we're an average team, if that. You know what I mean? Because after Aldo gone to do really well, they sold a lot of the players. So when I came in, but because I'm there, it's like, oh, we should be, signing big players and stuff like that. We haven't got any money. So unfortunately, you can look at managers who are bigger names and the expectancy on them. When the reality is, yes, if you go to a big club like, a Premier League club, you got lots of money and players. But if no matter which manager you are, you go down to the League Two, the fact that you are John Barnes or somebody else, it isn't going to work. Yeah. But the expectancy, whereas if you get a manager that nobody's ever heard of, they will give him longer and they'll appreciate him and accept him. Whereas they expect that's because it's John Barnes or somebody like that, then why isn't the team
you
getting
can
better?
wave a magic wand and it just doesn't happen like that.
And just before we move on from the managerial side of things, but the last time we spoke, John, we were actually in this room as well talking about one of the other subjects that you're really passionate, really outspoken about. So I just wonder, particularly with Liam taking over at Chelsea and so on, how do you think being a black manager, do you think people are given less opportunities still in the...
Well, not only less opportunity, less time. Less time. Because managers are going to get sacked. White managers will get the sack. Black managers will get the sack quicker because of the perception of their abilities to begin with. So being given the job is not the opportunity. Being given the trust, being given the faith. So of course, because he's doing well now, that's fine. But if he loses some games, that's when the question marks will be asked. So it's the same thing now. Forget about black. Let's talk about English. You think an English manager, Liverpool becomes available. Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, we'll mention Chelsea, Man City. Is there an English manager who's been given that opportunity? And if he was given that opportunity, how long would he be given? You can look at, what's the name of the one? Was Graham Potter, for example. They're not going to be given that opportunity because the perception is that foreign managers are better. Now, people may go, because you've not proven yourself, X, Y, Z, from an English manager's point of view. Now, if it's a Spanish manager, who nobody's ever heard of, but he's Spanish, he will be given longer than an English manager. Yeah. How many Spanish managers and Portuguese managers have come in?
Google that, James?
Even to Championship clubs, Spanish managers, and it's like they have failed, and it's like, well, let's get another Spanish manager. It doesn't matter. So we have a perception that foreign managers are better. Look at Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe is the only English manager who's been given a job there. And of course, you can see what's happening. People are just waiting for him to fail to go for a foreign manager to come in. And if a foreign manager comes in that they've never heard of, it doesn't matter because he's foreign, so we think he's better.
I think you should have used a different club than Chelsea because they just fucking sack it anyway. Whether you call it wherever you're from, whatever, the way you speak.
It's his relationship with Strasbourg why he got that job. It's nothing to do with him, it's to do with Strasbourg. And maybe he'll be given time, but unfortunately, if he doesn't do well,
Chelsea's
the question marks will come.
Chelsea's the worst club. If you look at it, I think so anyway. The way they call the managers, It's just the way they are.
And the problem we'll have with that, which most clubs have, apart from obviously Liverpool with Jurgen and Arteta, I'm talking about the old days, is that the managers have to have the power. That's why those are the three best teams. You've got Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal. Because once you have people above you who are making the decisions, the manager comes in, it undermines them. So the players know, if I don't perform, I'm not accountable. They're going to sack the manager. So as much as, and I hate it when a manager leaves a club. You've seen it at Man United. You've probably seen it at Chelsea, where a new manager comes in and the players go, "Oh, we love him, we love him." He's like, "Hang on a second." And then if he goes, a new manager comes in. You got to go, "Oh, we love this manager." The problem is, so unfortunately, when you give the players too much power and empower them, every manager, and depending on your character. So the character of a manager now at those clubs has to be someone who just rubs the player's shoulder to make them feel good. You can't be like Maresca was. You can't be shouting and screaming at them, because if they don't like you, they're going to get you the sack.
Yeah, it's a pattern of mind.
And what happens? And at Man United, what happens is then all of a sudden the manager comes in, massage the ego. We love him. We love him. We love him. We're playing well. When all of a sudden times get tough, and you need the manager to come in and go boom, boom, boom. If you don't do that, then all of a sudden the team's going to drop, because the manager is still hoping that the players play for me because they like me, which is happening with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's happened with a lot of managers at Man United, because the euphoria of a new manager coming in and he lets us play with freedom and it's great. Then when it gets hard and you need a manager to come in and make a hard decision, and he doesn't do that, the players are just going to go, we're not going to perform, and he's going to get a sack. That's why I fear for Tuchel with England. Because Tuchel is fine when he's winning and great to the players. Do that. And all of a sudden, if he's not going well on Tuchel, has to then say, Bellingham, you're off or whatever. That's not going to go down too well.
I mean, he's German, but from a German point of view, I'm more than happy for him to fail at England.
And get a German job.
John, let's go back to where it all started for you. What was life like as a kid growing up in Jamaica?
Life as a kid growing up in Jamaica was the same as life growing up anywhere. It's all you know. So, of course, we're in the sunshine. I go to school. I play lots of football. I don't suppose you go around anywhere, any country in the world, and that's what it was. Because you don't know, you can't compare it with anything else. Yeah. So, obviously, my life, I was brought up on the army. My dad was a colonel in the army, so it was a very strict upbringing. So I lived on the army base for a nice big house, and because the army base was when you had the British West Indies Regiment, so the old colonial houses with 3 and 4 acres. When my dad was an army officer, the British officers, obviously, after independence left, so the Jamaican officers took over these lovely big houses with 5 acres and all that kind of horses and stuff. So it was a privileged upbringing, and my dad. But it was all about sport. So my dad actually, when he came to Sandhurst to become an officer in England, he became heavyweight boxing champion. He played football. He played cricket. He actually played football for Jamaica, as much as not professionally, because he's an army officer. So it was my sister swam for Jamaica, played squash. It's a sporting upbringing. Yeah. Very, very sporty. Yeah.
And you were 12, is that right, when the family moved to London? So what was
he came to London because he was a diplomatic post. Yeah. We didn't immigrate. We came to London for 4 years. He got sent as military attaché for 4 years. At 16, I'm now going to go back to America to go to university. Howard University, got offered a scholarship. And I was just playing football, I don't know, for Sudbury Court in Wembley. Not Wembley Stadium, just beside there. Yeah. Pitch with dog shit on it, it's a normal pitch. No one's watching. Because when you say you played at Wembley, they think you're playing in Wembley. But it's like one of those pitches in South Liverpool where he played. And a taxi driver was driving by, said, I'll watch this game. So he watched it. I didn't know a taxi driver watched. He knew a scout. He told a scout.
At Watford.
At Watford. But the scout must have come, because I didn't know a scout came. First thing I knew is when Bertie Mee, who was he won the double with Arsenal manager. He was working at Watford. He phoned my dad and he said, I know John's going back to go to America, to go to university, but we've seen him and does he want to come and train for a couple of months before he goes? Came and trained with the youth team. Then they offered me a contract and I stayed. And that's the only reason I stayed.
Are you still in touch with the taxi driver?
Well, what I always say is that I don't even know who the taxi driver is, but I wish him all the best in his endeavors. Everyone has got to look after themselves, haven't they? So I'm sure he's okay, but I don't know who he is.
The fee was a set of kit, wasn't it?
Well, listen, this isn't even who did you play? South. It's not even. You had a stadium. South Liverpool.
Yeah, we had a stadium. Yeah,
we never even. It was like playing in there, so they were happy to get a kit. Not only that, because this is a team. They didn't have to give him a kit. There's no transfer fee. I hadn't signed a contract with this team. I'm just playing for a team. It's like playing for the dog and duck. When you dog and duck, all of a sudden Liverpool signed you, they're not going to give you anything, are they? So they were very happy to get that kit that they got from Watford for me.
It's funny just saying that. Just going to tell you the quick story. Just comes to my mind. The tram you're talking about, like the parks and whatever. We didn't have a proper place to train in when I first joined. I'm come from Real Sociedad. You know what I mean? The way it was in Spain. We've got to
not Gasta. No, you're not from Gasta.
No. So we've got to. we played that. We trained. We couldn't train on the pitch because that was bad enough. So we trained outside where they used to change, and obviously the base. And Ronnie Moore used to have to go on, put the pegs down or whatever, and then pick up the dog shit. We used to call it Dog Shit Park. That was our training.
No, that's a couple of players they had.
In them days, you used to get white dog shit. Remember the white? You don't see that no more, do you? White dog shit. Honestly,
Times have changed.
Ronnie Moore used to have to go up, and the lads at the back. And we used to train on Dog Shit Park.
Aldo Meets us hit a new low talking about the difference between black and white dog shit.
It's true.
Wow.
Youngsters don't know what that is anymore. It's all crumbly, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
It was crumbly.
It's like flour.
And it just disappeared.
You never see
Youngsters don't see it.
white dog shit no more. If you do, right into Peter.
And you make your debut for 17, I think it was.
Yeah.
Graham Taylor was obviously massively important, wasn't he, in terms of launching your...
Absolutely. Listen, I signed for Watford and I was an apprentice, but my dad was really strict. So from I was 13, 14, I was training really hard. I had to go run around the park, not to become a professional footballer, but he said, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it with authenticity. You got to work hard. I'm going to go to America, university. I'm not going to be a professional footballer, but he says, if you're going to do anything, you do it with authenticity, dedication. So I had to train. So I was training since 13, 14, 15. Signed for Watford at 17. First year pro. You had people who were apprentices who'd been there in the system for 2-3 years, but I was better than them, physically better than them, because I used to train really hard. Yeah. So I then played my first game for Watford reserves. I'd been at the club for like 2 months because I signed at the beginning of the season.
What was your first wage there?
£200 a week.
Yeah.
£200 a week. So I've signed. I'm now had one reserve game on the first game of the season. And this is why I like football in those days. When the first team played away, 3 o'clock on a Saturday, when football should be, the reserves played at 3 o'clock in the home stadium.
That's right, yeah.
So Watford were playing at Newcastle, and Watford reserves were playing Swindon 3 o'clock on a Saturday, my first game. So I played, I scored. So Luther basically got sent off at Newcastle, first game of the season. And what happened then? He just missed the next game. So the next game, Luther's missing the next game. Oldham at home. That's the second game of the season. Graham Taylor just puts me on the bench. I'm 17, had one reserve game, one youth team game, been at the club for 2 months as a professional.
It's a big statement, that.
It is. So he puts me on the bench against Oldham. Second game of the season. I come on for the last 13 minutes. Only 13 minutes. Puts me on 13 minutes. We won 1-0. I didn't score. Did okay. 13 minutes. Third game of the season. Luther's coming back into the team. Chelsea away. He puts me in the team, not on the bench, not back in the reserves. I'm in the first team. 17 puts me in the first team on the wing, and I stayed there ever since. He had faith in the players. Did you play alongside Luther? No, I played left wing. Luther was with Ross Jenkins. You remember Big Ross?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I played on the left wing, and that's my third game ever in professional football. Straight in the first team away at Chelsea, and I stayed in there ever since. Because it's your preparation. You know, forget about your ability, but it's your preparation mentally, physically. You had to be able to. And Watford trained really hard. And when I went to Watford as a 17-year-old. Although Watford were training hard, because my dad had me doing that at 14 and 15, going to the gym and running every night around Regent's Park and stuff like that. Yeah, you could. Yeah, so and Watford was a great club for just putting youngsters in.
It's interesting that, because I get that, because when I went to Newport, obviously I was just playing like local football. So I was miles below the other lads, and I had to go and train during the close season. Went to, anyway, in Egbeth to this Mr. Liverpool at the time, built me up, put £10 a muscle on. I was doing what Barnesy said to get me up to where they were, because when I first went, the first couple of months, I was miles behind them. You pull straight and everything the way they used to do it, and that's the only way you have to do it yourself and have the power and will to know where you want to get, but to go and do it.
But the lucky thing with me was that obviously at 13, 14, 15, up until I was 17, I was very strict. I'm not. Whereas Aldo was, I'm getting pissed, weren't you? When what, you're 17 and 18 and 19?
I was having a few beers. There
you go.
I wasn't there you go.
Come on, Aldo. After the game when you played for Versatility, come on.
No, yeah, but so, I was 18 now, 19. No. I used to have a few babies, but within reason. When I was 16, 17, you know what I mean? When you used to go away to watch Liverpool on the way home, you know, on the train, a few cans and all that. But I was quite sensible. When I got to 18,
although you've never been sensible,
when I got to 18,
I'm sorry.
I was a little bit, I do like the pints.
John, just before we talk about how you then established yourself as a regular and so on, I'm curious. Your dad obviously has seemingly had a distinguished career as in the forces and representing the country and so on. What did he make of the fact that you wouldn't sort of follow in his footsteps but you became a footballer, like how that period when you sort of started to make it with Watford.
It's really interesting, not even making it with Watford, because I remember growing up in the army base and the army life back then, before all of these wars started, was a great life. Because, of course, when you join the army, you can become a pilot, engineer, they'll train you, they'll pay you, and you're not fighting anyone, are you? Because there's no war. But then all of a sudden, what happens now is that, you join the army because you want to become a pilot, an engineer, they're going to give you a trade. Then all of a sudden they go, right, lad, you're off to flipping somewhere to fight. So that's dangerous. Yeah. So, but my dad knew it was a great life for kids. Great life for kids who didn't know what they were going to do. At school, you're not good at school, but you join the army, great discipline, but he never once. And my friends used to come home when we were, 11, 12, 13, 14, and he used to tell them about the benefits of being in the army. Never once he did it with me. I don't know whether he knew that wasn't for me, as much as I was very disciplined in sport, or he didn't want me to join the army, but he never ever. But my friends, I'm not saying, how can you always telling them about the great life it can be? But for me, he goes, no, that's not for you, for some reason. So, but my dad, he was at, Camilla Parker Bowles? The kids.
Yes.
Well, my dad was friends with Andrew Parker Bowles. He was at my mum and dad's wedding.
Oh,
he was at Sandhurst with my dad.
That.
So he was at Sandhurst with my dad. So my dad grew up with Andrew Parker Bowles. He remembers coming out, of course. Then when my dad got sent back as military attaché, Andrew Parker Bowles used to come to our house for dinner. I'm 13 years old. Andrew Parker Bowles would come into the house. He was always by himself. We don't know where his wife was, but think we know where she was now. So, but that's a bit too young. You don't understand that. So don't ask questions like that.
Aldo Meets exclusive.
I know, yeah.
Aldo Meets exclusive.
I would say, where's his wife? He goes, oh, you're too young to understand, son. Don't worry. Nothing to do with you. So the thing about it is that as much as he didn't want me to join the army, but he didn't say. I'll give you an example of the way I was brought up. My sister swam for Jamaica. She swam internationally. And Jamaica's an hour from Miami. So I swam for this club called Marlins, and we used to go and swim in Miami in international meets against teams from Miami. So I swam from the age of 8, 9, 10, 11. And then what happened was we used to train in the National Stadium pool across about half a mile from where we live. And you had to go to training every day. Every day you used to walk to training. But I'm 11 years old. As I'm walking to training, I'll stop off and play football with my friends. So I wouldn't go to training every day. And my dad said to me, if you're not going to go to training every day, stop swimming. Because you have to do it with authenticity and determination. And when I came to England, so here's the funniest thing that people don't know. I came to England, I played for this youth club at 13 years old called Stowe Boys Club in Paddington. When I got there, they had played in the under 12s before, so they'd been there for a year, they knew each other. I came, in Jamaica, I was playing on the 16s when I was 11, so I was a good player attacking. When I came, that team was so good, they were winning 8-0 every week in the Regent's Park Sunday League. When you're 12 years old and you're winning 8-0, no one wants to be a defender. So my dad said to me, you're going to play centre-back for this team. So from the age of 13 till 17, I played as a centre-back. Only, never played anywhere else. I was always a winger and a goal-scoring training and practice matches, but every time I played for the team, I played as a centre-back.
You could have parted nobly.
Till I went to... till I then went to Sudbury Court, which is the men's team, and of course I'm not going to play there. So for my 6 months at Sudbury Court before I went to Watford, I started playing in a proper position. But as I said, for the first 4 years, I only played as a centre-back. So my dad said to me, we know you're an attacker, you're scoring goals. Your first and foremost responsibility is to the team. That's the most important thing. Not yourself, the team. So if you have to play centre-back for the team, that's what you do. I go to Watford, I'm a left winger. My first job as a left winger for Watford, not to create chances to score goals. When the fullback chases, you chase him back for the team. That's what Graham Taylor said. That's the most important thing.
Do you know what? We talk all the time. We talk some great shit all the time. But some things, I'm just listening to what you just been saying about your dad and your discipline and all that. It's brilliant. I fucking love it, by the way. How many times did you get booked in your career?
Twice. And once also pulling the shirt back.
That's discipline.
Yeah.
Never got sent out, obviously. I got sent out about 8 times.
How many times you got booked?
About 50 fucking times.
But that's a character, though, isn't it? You have to look at the character of the person.
But no, I was intrigued, and that led me to that because it's something we've never spoken about. I knew,
but especially back then, when people were kicking lumps out. Well, you know what I mean? You should be getting booked.
Well, that's one reason I would never go on the pitch to harm anyone. But I tell you what, if anyone had a piece of me, he's getting me fucking elbow somewhere along. You let the ball go, let them head it, and you pop them. And the referee knew what was going on in them days, didn't he?
And not only that, although, because back then you had to do something horrific to get a yellow card. Let me tell you, you get a yellow card for anything. Back then, I'll tell you the strangest thing in football, and this is to this day. And at the time, you didn't think anything of it. At the time, you thought nothing of it. But you look back at things that go on in the past and think, how could that even happen? First minute. Ball played up to a centre forward. The centre half was allowed to come behind you, break your leg. The referee just come in and go, right, son, that's the only one. That's your first one. It's like, never mind, it's the first one. He nearly killed me. The law is the law. Honestly, you couldn't get booked in the first minute no matter what you did.
It's one for you again. Who's the one player you played obviously right back who's tried to smash it over the years. Was there one that sticks out in mind?
No, because the lunatics were left backs, aren't they? You had Dixie, you had Mark Dennis, you had you had Pat Van Den Houw. It seems all the lunatics were left back. And what used to happen when I played for Watford, I'm on the left, Nigel Callum's on the right. Callum's always going to be swap. You stay over there.
Callum's only small, wasn't he?
I'll tell you the one though. The one was the one at Kirk Stevens. Remember he played for Luton?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was, but everybody was dirty, weren't they? And then Anderson at Newcastle, the right back there.
Oh, Ando.
Yeah.
Ando, yeah.
Who played right back for Oxford?
I know Ando. Ando was played for the Republic of Ireland a few times.
Yeah, but look, but the thing is, everyone
Anderson
was like that. The midfield players, and in fact, the little wingers were really. I mean, so you didn't have. Now you talk about the defenders were tough. Everybody was. You had Robert Hopkins, who was a winger. All the wingers, they were some,
the Jones on about, and Blakey was in that team as well. Every one of them.
Yeah, Mick Kennedy. So it's not just the centre back, the big centre back. You'd have the little wingers. If you go back to the 70s, looking at Alan Clark, Johnny Giles, they were filthy.
Proper.
Billy Bremer. I mean, they're all creative players playing on the wing and stuff like that, but they were dirty. Yeah, everybody was dirty.
So early on, you helped Watford get promotion, 81-82, lost an FA Cup final against the Blue Shite in 84, but then
second to Liverpool in 83.
Yeah, true.
Second.
But then shortly after that, you had your, obviously by now you played for England, an iconic goal against Brazil in the Maracanã. What's your recollections of that?
It's a friendly match. They were pissed. Must have been someone should have tackled me. I always say my favourite goal was a QPR one here.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a meaningful goal with the fans. Yeah, it's a great goal. But the thing about it is that I think if it was a proper game, World Cup final, something, somebody would have tackled me.
You know what I mean? You're demeaning yourself.
No, don't get me wrong. No, it was a great goal. Don't get me wrong.
Brazil.
It's a great goal, but you're playing in front of a half-empty stadium.
It's a big stadium.
85,000.
Yeah.
It was half empty because it's 85,000 instead of 200,000. Yeah. It's a friendly match. Yeah, so listen, I love the goal, don't get me wrong. However, the thing about it is that what you really want, you want to have the feeling of the euphoria that you scored a great goal. You really don't know what it looks like because you're kind of like just doing that. But you know it's a good goal.
You just done your natural
thing, didn't you? So you come in at half-time now because what's happened is, I know it was a good goal. And it's my first goal for England in the Maracanã Stadium. I've done that. I don't really know what it looks like, but I think it's all right because I scored from the halfway line. But you come in and you just want everybody to be going how great you are, right? But what happened was, it was done literally 10 seconds before half-time. So obviously Bobby Robson's got a drawing nil on. He's got his team talk already, blah, blah, blah. Then that's goal scored. And then we come off. So of course, his team talk is now different. So as I've come in, he's gone, right, lads, right, what we're going to do is now, and everyone starts talking, and I'm going, I've just fucking scored a great goal, and no one's fucking saying anything, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Because then, and what also happens is after scoring a goal, even if any kind of a goal, you want it to be, you scored a goal, you've got another, even if it's another 5 minutes before half-time, where you're kind of like on cloud nine, going around the crowd and going like that. Yeah. But as soon as we scored, the referee blew for half-time. So I didn't have time to celebrate because now we're coming off, everyone's having a drink, and someone's going to the toilet, and I'm going, I've just scored. Come on, lads, come on.
Did they end up 2-1 that game?
No, 2-0.
Tony scored, didn't he?
Mark.
Sorry.
Don't call him
Tony was my mate. Tony used to be like, yeah, Mark.
Tony was his dad who played.
No, he played there.
And he hated it because Bobby Robson used to call him Tony all the time. And Mark, you know, he's very aggressive. I'm going to talk about aggressive. That's why he played in Italy. He is, listen, I'll tell you, he is one of the most aggressive people. He's so aggressive. You know, he plays that way as well. Yeah. And then Bobby was lovely when he, and Bobby's great, right, you know, Tony up front, my name's fucking Mark! He's a shout to Bobby Robson. Most people just used to let Bobby say whatever he said. He goes, Mark, not Tony.
Brilliant.
John, just before we have the first break, just in terms of 1987,
first break, I thought we'd finish. What's this going for?
1987, when you come to Liverpool, were there what other clubs were in for you at that?
There were other clubs. Football was different back then. Once a club came in for you, remember Brian Robson, England captain, best player, went to Man United. Man United are finishing 6th. They're not a best team. Other teams didn't come in for him and go, we want you. So back then, Liverpool came in for me, and that was it.
Right.
The story about Man United, they didn't come in because, you know, it's a nice story that, you know, we were going to get him and blah, blah, blah. But at that time, Liverpool were the best. 87. Man United weren't doing anything. We were going to Man United then. And he didn't have, you know, even when Liverpool came in for Peter, no one else came in for Peter. Yeah. You know, it wasn't an auction. Whereas now, you know, one player is available, then other clubs want him, which is ridiculous because what a club should say is that we can see if it's to do what we want. So we want you to come and play for our team because we can see it fitting in doing that. That another team shouldn't go, oh, because they want him, we want him as well, you know? So, and if they want him, we should go in for him to stop him getting him. You got to know what you want. So no other club came in for me.
Yeah. It's like Chelsea's transfer policy in a nutshell, isn't it?
Just
see what others want.
I want them to go for them. Yeah.
Take it as well.
Well, that's the end of part 1 with Aldo Meets with John Barnes. We'll see you shortly.
Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was sent far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in a...
So, John, what were those early days like at Liverpool? Obviously, Aldo had come in, and in the January, Peter Beardsley around the same time as you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, June time.
I signed. Obviously, me and Peter came in. Aldo was there obviously before, and listen. The good thing about it is that I suppose for Aldo and Peter is the same. When I had 6 years at Watford, now what happens is you've got one good season as a good young player playing at a club, then it costs £80 million, and you see the inconsistency. The fact that I played for Watford for 6 years meant that by the time I came to Liverpool, it's going to be a lot of pressure. I'd shown that I had that consistency. Peter showed the consistency. Aldo showed the consistency.
It was good grounding for all of us.
Yeah, you didn't sign you after one season because you did really well. So Aldo was away for. And Aldo tells a story about how many years later you waited after you had. The story. So as much as there's a lot of pressure, okay, you're coming to replace Kenny and Rushy and gone. So how are we going to perform? You know what I mean? Because as much as Liverpool were like a machine, Souness, but up front it was Kenny and Rushy. That's how they scored goals. That's how they were creative. How are we going to replace them? Obviously, Aldo, myself, and Peter, then kind of like came. So there's a lot of pressure on to do that, especially on him, because replacing, okay, I'm going to come and do what I do, creative, whatever, but to score the goals, you have to replace Rushy.
What he said, and I might have said this when Peter done the chat. Obviously, when I came into January, I only started two games for Liverpool. Southampton won 1-0, scored the winner. Chelsea drew.
You can just say score the goal, but it's only one.
No, but when I seen him, I said, I know Ian's going, but I'm not getting more game time. He said, you just have to bear with me. Just wait to see, because we know the way you play. We play through the middle at the moment. With me and Jan, I'm playing for Rushy. But we're going to change the system and go wide and do it differently and get balls into the box because that's your fault. He said, okay. So next minute, he goes and gets Barnesy. I've gone, fucking hell, that'll do for me. Wow. I knew Peter, little magician, and then my old mucker from Oxford and Ray Houghton. And before Ray come, we had the pre-season of Scandinavia. We played Bayern Munich when we only trained for a week.
They'd been back about a month, hadn't they?
And straight away I went, this is ridiculous.
Especially as we came on strong in the second half, we were 3-0 down, weren't we? We came back to 3-2.
We can beat 3-0 at Bayern Munich, and they've been back for a while. We'd only been back for 7 days. Yeah. First game, and I think we're going to get done 60. Second half, we pummeled them. I scored, Barnesy scored, and then I got another one, and he disallowed it. But all of a sudden we were battering them. And then we went...
After that game, we knew it was going to be all right.
And do you know what? Straight away I went, everything just clicked. And then Ray came and Kruggy couldn't get a game. Then Ray gave a different dimension to us. Straight away.
He became a strong... So the thing about it is that, because it really became a front three, if you have a front three, and if Craig was playing, he's a winger as well, would have been a bit light in midfield. But Ray Houghton, as much as he played wide right, he was like a midfield player. So it was him, Ronnie, and Steve McMahon, and then us three. So, and they were much better defensively and solid down with Barry Venison and him, whereas me and Stephen Nicol were being creative. But that's why the balance was good.
Yeah, but you're playing yourself down as a defender there because
we all worked hard.
Because of what Graham Taylor to Barnesy.
Yeah.
Once you clicked off there,
you have to get back.
First time you knew you had to fucking react, bang. And if you do that, and it happens now, they don't react quick enough. If you do it like you're told by your managers, old school like we do, as soon as you lose the ball, that split second will stop you having to sprint 10 yards. And that's all you have to do.
You come back 10 yards, you have to go chase 50 yards back.
Then you're in front. And it's not rocket science.
No, it's not. But I'll tell you the funniest thing about that is I thought because I played up front against Liverpool, and I scored 2 goals. Not in the same game against Liverpool because I played up front.
Is that a Vicarage Road?
Yeah, Vicarage Road. And I played up front and with Jockey and Gary and all of them. So I'm thinking, and listen, a bit like everybody wants to play up front, don't they? You see Marcus Rashford and you see all these wide players and they say, I'm going to play up front. Then when they start getting kicked, they said, get me back out wide. But back then, I played up front for Watford. And then all of a sudden, Rushy's going and Aldo's there, but Kenny was tired. So I thought I was coming up front to play with Aldo. Because Peter came a week later.
Yeah, that's how he changed.
So when I came, I didn't, because of course back then, it's not now where you know who's coming. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I signed for Liverpool, and because I'd scored up front and I wanted to play up front, I thought, okay, me and Aldo up front. I'm going to come short, Aldo's going to do that. Then 1 week later, They've signed Peter Beardsley. And I've gone, where am I playing then? And he went, well, you're playing on the left. And I thought, well, Liverpool don't play that way. Because for Watford, you hug the touchline, go on and put crosses in. Liverpool don't play that way. So how am I going to play on the left? And they just went, work it out, son. You'll work it out yourself.
Do you know what? I've got to say something now. But when Shankly took over Liverpool, and everyone was 4-4-2 in them days. It was different. But like, because Liverpool went in Europe 18 years on a bounce at one time, the only clubs who've done it. He learnt a lot from Europe. And I go back, and at the time, I thought it was 4-4-2. But Roger Hunt played up there. The Saint played slightly deeper. Yeah. It wasn't. It was like a 4-5-1 come 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Or 4-4-1-1.
Yeah, sorry, that's 4-4-1-1. So from there, they went, and Keegan and Toshak coming, and the same thing. Toshak stayed there, and Kevin just played there. He was going all over the place. Then Ian, and then Kenny, the same.
It's never 4-4-2.
And then exactly, it was never. And Liverpool played a foreign formation, and people knew it was always still 4-4, but they didn't get onto it, and that was Bill Shankly's, the thoughts of him. Yeah, he started it.
Yeah.
Never 4-4-2.
And that Liverpool team of 87-88 is widely regarded as one of the greatest Liverpool teams ever.
Listen, the thing about it is we're different. Put it this way, Aldo had been there throughout the ages. You look at that 78 team. You can go back to 74 and stuff, but let's just talk about the 78 team that they had, then the 82 team, and I think that we were probably, as he said, more flamboyant in terms of the way we played, but they were stronger. You know, feel, but they had Case and Souness and stuff like that. They were tough. So we were playing probably. And that's why the fans were excited, because it's a new, attractive style of football. But I think that that 78 team and 82 team, they were just like machines, weren't they? And then Russian Dalglish gave them some goals, but they weren't playing sparkling football, but they just beat you. So I think they were quite.
I do agree, but I slightly disagree, because you could fucking defend, and you were strong. Stephen Morn.
I'm not talking about physically.
And Ronnie. Ray was just too quick in the mind, because he didn't have to be physical. Because he had a great football,
he was intelligent,
and he was intelligent, and he would get in there. And if you played up top for Liverpool, and you think that's Sir Roger, Tosh, both Toshes and John Toshak. And we said, you were the first line defence, and you had to chase the arse off one of their back four.
I don't mean physically. I'm talking about the nature of the four midfield players. They had like four central midfield players across the middle. Well, you got Sammy, you got Jimmy Case, you got Dermot, Ray Kennedy. And he was a centre forward. What I'm saying is that they're not wingers. They're all you could play. And then Ronnie Whelan playing wide on the left. Ronnie's not a left winger. So they had four central midfield players playing up two wide and two in the middle, but they were all midfield players. I was a winger, and so I think that's what I mean when I talk about stronger. I mean, they were just more like a machine. They weren't flamboyant, but those four midfield players were four central midfield players. I always thought Jimmy Case played in the middle, because he's but he plays right wing, and he's a midfield player, isn't he?
It was a bit boring on the right hand side. You'd go looking in the middle for something to get on.
No, when he went to Southampton, he played in the middle, didn't he? So I just thought, so you had him and Souness, and then Whelan and it was just like four midfield players, and Rushy and Kenny scored the goals, and those four just made sure everything was right.
That proper. It's good shout.
Obviously, you blew everyone away in terms of winning the league, and then the expectation was that was going to be a League and Cup double season.
Aldo messed it up.
I was expecting that.
Every time he still reminds me of that.
How do you look back? Because it obviously becomes like. These stories come about you. But they psyched you out in the tunnel.
No, that's rubbish. Listen, don't say that about Wimbledon as well. That's a lot of rubbish. No, listen. The thing about it is that you have to remember, and I didn't even think about it at the time. And Jan knows everything. Stato remembers everything. You remember how many games we had to play before that game? We had to play 4 games in about 10 days. Yeah. So because after Hillsborough, we never played, and they got the emotion. But then all of a sudden, we had to be playing again. We played. The worst thing we could have done, last game before we played them, we beat West Ham. No, we beat West Ham. Yeah, the last game before that, we beat West Ham 5. Beating West Ham 5.
That was the Arsenal game.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about Wimbledon.
Oh, Wimbledon.
FA Cup.
Just one of those games. Flipping out. Cup final. It happens in football. And you don't want average performance to be in the cup final. But we'd had games like that before, but it was in a cup final.
Do you know,
Wimbledon were 6. So it's not as if like it was a big upset as a non-league team. Wimbledon were 6 in the top division.
People don't get it. And do you know what we did? We when we won the league after Tottenham, we took our foot off the gas a little bit. Not like we did last year.
Yeah.
And it happens It happens psychologically. We drew against Luton at home, won all, and the other games we weren't quite at it. And you know, something happened. We had a collision in training to the centre halves, and we just wasn't where we was a month before.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'll give Wimbledon full credit. And the first half, as well as we didn't play, things didn't go out our way. Best pulled off a couple of great saves, by the way. One off Barnesy in particular. And Peter's one that should have been allowed.
Disallowed.
It just was. But I'll tell you what, they were brilliant on the day.
Yeah,
We were now,
organised.
but look, people talk about us quite rightly so because we should have won it. But Wimbledon that day were fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Give them the credit
Good
rather than
game
picking on
plan.
us. You know?
Good game plan. But the thing about it is that's just one of those games.
And it
we've had
didn't
them
miss the
before.
penalty.
Yeah.
It was the best fucking save I've ever seen
It
in
was a
my
decent
fucking life
save.
by Best.
That's why we needed him in the 1990 penalty
Good luck,
shootout
mate.
instead of Schultz.
You're right. Best was good at penalty.
In fact, we're saying to Bobby Robson, I know it's not England thing, but I remember they were saying to Bobby Robson, change the keeper. You know, Schultz was the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Schultz was 72 at the time. So, you know,
Let
we're
his
trying to
boots.
say,
You know what?
put him in.
He's right, because I
Because you've
scored
seen
about
people
4 or
do
5
that, haven't
penalties
you?
against
Yeah,
Shilton and
yeah.
he got every fucking one. So no, Best was a good keeper.
What was it
And he
like for
set
you
up.
to record in the Anfield rap?
We had a laugh.
Where did you?
Just fun.
Was that
Quadrant
Lark
Park.
Lane? Oh,
No, Quadrant Park
Quadrant Park,
nightclub.
was it?
In the
Right.
nightclub.
No, that's where we done the video.
The video.
We done
the recording.
We
Yeah,
done
the recording's not
North
important.
Lane.
The video is important. We were all dressed up as rappers in Quadrant Park and the nightclub when we stayed in the nightclub. So we're there from the afternoon. And then Derek B, there's a rapper, you remember Derek B? So the rapper is, for God personally soul, he's passed away. He was a famous rapper, Derek B, who's going to do it. And he was all professional. He's coming. And because the lads
His name was Derek B, but we ended up calling him Derek Y.
That's why.
Why the fuck am I here?
Is that what pissed him off?
No, he left. So what happened was he's come to do it, and the lads were a disgrace. He wants to do it properly, and the lads were going, "What's your name? Derek B? You mean Derek? Why the fuck am I here with these knobheads?" And they were just like messing around. So he pissed off. He got on the train. He didn't finish it. He left. So if you see that video of the Anfield rap, yeah,
Yeah.
and when it starts, I've got a hat on, and I go, "Liverpool FC is hard as hell." That's him doing it.
Oh, okay. That's not you singing.
That's him doing it.
Right.
But because he had pissed off and he was angry, I had to put it on and go.
we done the first recording of it in Lark Lane, and we went in this obviously the recording studio, and we were shit. We were shit. We
I was
couldn't
good.
rap.
I was good. They were shit.
So anyway, Derek Y coming, Derek B coming in, and Derek said, "Lads, fucking shite." He said, "Go to the pub and have a few pints and come back, loosen up and go and have a few pints." So we went to the Albert, I think it was down the road there. So we all went in there and we had a few pints, whatever, 3 or 4 pints. We had a laugh. We went back, knocked it off straight away. That's the truth. It just relaxed us a little bit, not the bevy.
I was relaxed always.
He's natural, isn't he?
I was relaxed. Just the rest of them.
John, I've heard you talk before about, the iconic picture of you backheeling away the banana at Goodison. And you said you don't actually remember doing it because it almost happened so frequently back then.
All the time. And of course, because when you play football, if you're playing Watford versus Luton or Watford versus whoever, it's not media attentive, is it? Because it's Watford versus whoever, which is the top division. But when Liverpool playing Everton, 2 top teams, all the press are there. So I don't even remember doing it at all. And of course, I remember Cyril Regis once put the banana down his shorts, didn't he? That's why he done it for a picture. So, and they said we could open a flipping, you could open a flipping corner shop with them on a banana that used to come on the field. So that was a regular thing. So while people were surprised, in fact, the funniest thing is that I've seen, I've got the picture here and you've seen it, is mine and Peter's, which shows that no one even batted an eyelid where there's any kind of discrimination at all. It was not even to be mentioned. The official photograph that me and Peter had at Anfield we had on the top, I've got them here, of me and Peter beside the Anfield sign. This is Anfield. And on top of it, this is Anfield. I'll show you. It's got NF right beside it. You ever seen it?
No.
What's that video? Yeah. That was in the national newspaper. But no one looked at it and thought, oh, it's saying NF. It had, this is Anfield. Me and Peter signed and I'll get it up and show you.
Nice.
But no one had thought at the time, oh, better not put that up.
Yeah.
When I get up, I'll show you. But this was the good old days.
Right, you're right there, what?
You, Peter?
It's the first time he's ever been stuck for words, by the way.
No, but I thought we were bringing it up now.
No, well, I'm going to get it up here. But let me tell you, Peter, hang on a second.
Yeah.
So,
this is the subject,
have I told you the
John?
history of me? My favorite team, as you well know. My dad went to the Munich Olympics 1972. Do you not know this story?
Germany.
No.
So my dad went to the 1972. He's a colonel in the army. He went to the birthday. We sent him to
He's
watch
a
the
German
Olympics.
fan.
So hang on a second. Let me tell him the story.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know this story.
1972.
West
So
Germany.
Yeah, not Germany. There's no Germany. There's West Germany. There's East Germany. West Germany. So 1972, goes to the Munich Olympics. Bring me back my first pair of football boots. I'm in Jamaica. Adidas Gerdmuller. So I've got my Adidas Gerdmuller. Yeah, 1974. I'm watching the World Cup final. West Germany. I cried when East Germany beat West Germany in the group phases. They did it to get into a different group, but I didn't know that. Yeah, Sparvatsen scored. So I'm now watching the World Cup final. I've got my boots. They still fit me 2 years later. In the National Stadium, watching my team, West Germany, play. You know anything about West Germany? You know in goal? Settmeyer.
Yeah.
Centre back, Schwarzenbeck, Beckenbauer.
Call yourself a fan.
Schwarzenbeck, Beckenbauer. Left back was Paul Breitner.
Oh, yeah.
Right wing, Jurgen Grabowski. Wolfgang Overath, my favourite player ever, Cologne.
Great player, yeah.
Played hot guys on the left wing. Hoeneß and Müller up front.
Willy Hoeneß.
Yeah. Rainer Bonhoff in midfield with Gunther Netzer was in the squad because 72 he was, but then he was a bit of a naughty boy. And Helmut Schön, that's my team. West Germany and Bayern Munich were my team growing up until I came to England. And then when I came to England, they went, you can't have them anymore because they bombed somebody's chip shop. I didn't know.
Do you know what?
I heard that joke maybe once or twice.
But West Germany.
My favourite one, sorry, was Helmut Schön.
Helmut Schön
That
was
was
the manager.
fucking...
Helmut Schön.
No, your favorite is... Who's your favorite?
No, you
Helmut
just
Schön.
said...
He doesn't
That
get
went
it.
over your head, didn't it, by the way?
Mr. Kunz. Right? He's
Oh,
your favorite.
Stefan
He's your
Kuntz, yeah.
favorite.
But no, I remember that team.
So that West Germany team was my favourite team.
Them in Brazil just were miles ahead.
No, West Germany.
Yugoslavia were good, by the way. They were really good side at the time.
Dragon Jajic.
Really good time.
So West Germany, I mean, where are you from?
Yeah, Dortmund. Yeah,
Oh, that's okay.
But,
That's too close.
in all honesty, I remember when Germany won the World Cup in 1990. I remember my dad in this little rental apartment where we lived in rural Germany. He said to me something really important has happened to Germany. But in hindsight, because I was so young, I cannot remember if he meant the reunification of Germany or if he meant the World Cup. I just can't remember because both was fireworks. Both of it were iconic pictures of history for Germany. But I was 5 years old, so I just can't remember if he meant the World Cup winning.
1974, you were 5 years old?
No, sorry, we're talking about 1990 now. With Bremer and so on. I can't remember which of the two it was, to be honest. You know.
I played against Bremer when Watford were the champ and we beat Kaiserslautern. Bremer, I played against him. He was a right back. Played against Bremer. Watford beat them, and we went through in the UEFA Cup when we finished second in the league. And on the left back, once again, Nigel Callaghan on the right kept going like this to me to swap over. Because you know who was left back? Hans-Peter Briegel. Remember him? Oh, he was a big monster. I'm saying here with Bremer because Bremer played right back against me.
Just going about the obviously that season, we pissed the league. We were too good. We had 29 games unbeaten. Everton beat us 1-0 only because I was injured that day. Otherwise, they wouldn't have beat us. All right, they should.
Remember that? Who scored?
Yeah, I was
Modest.
Clark, I'm only messing.
Here we go, lads. No ball games.
Oh my God.
Such as it was in them days.
I think that's something
And
we
that,
need to...
that got published in national newspapers.
Yeah, this was in the newspaper. What were we saying?
Wow.
No, it's Nottingham Forest. Someone just put Forest man put it on there. Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Yeah, so, we did, and obviously, where was I now? Yeah, we actually went, I always remember after we beat Forest in the semi-final, on the Sunday we went down to London to the PFA Awards. And there was about 8 of us, wasn't there? 8 to 10 of us, wasn't there? So we got on the train at Lancashire Station.
And there were about 8 of us, 7 or 8 of us in the team, weren't there?
Yeah, that's right, in the team, the PFA team of the
Team
year.
of the year.
And we all took our ale on there and whatever we were drinking. Didn't have wine in them days, just ale. So we got to the I
don't drink beer.
Nice little whiskey.
I'm a connoisseur.
Got to the hotel. Alex Hurricane-Higgins was there, so we started down a few bevies with him. Went to the hotel. Obviously, big awards. So I always remember we walked in and we'd have bladdered then. So Alan Hanson's, he's our leader. We're following to jock. We get in there and it's our tables. There's your table, gents. And the speakers there. Jack Charn was speaking on the speakers were there with the backs towards us. And Jockey went, not fucking having
We were
that.
in the back of the room, behind the stage.
He said, don't have that. I said, what? We didn't get it. He said, hold on a minute. We're not watching here.
I was player of the year.
Barnes's player of the year.
8 of them on the team.
Yeah.
Team of the year, and we're right in the back.
And so he says, Garçon. Fella comes over. Says, we're not sitting here. He said, it's not to do with me. He said, we'll get the head of the PFA. We're not sitting there. We're all leaving now. Oh, so there's a big panic on. So I forget who it was, come from the PFA. Jockey said,
You gave us a choice.
yeah, he said, we're going now unless you give us free ale all night and then we'll stay because you got John Barnes played here and in the team and you want us to go on stage and all this, that and the other. And he went, hold on, I'll just okay it. We went over and okayed it with some big wig from the PFA. He come over and, that's fine, Alan, okay. Alan said, sit down, lads. He went, Garçon, come here. He said, 4 bottles of your best Bollinger, please. We drunk them, I don't know why.
I think they regretted it. I think they wanted us to leave.
But did you know what? We battered it. And then we went back to the hotel. We stayed there till 4 a.m. Got in the train next day. We actually trained the next afternoon, late afternoon, because of what Kenny let us have a little bit of play-off. That was a Monday. Before on the Wednesday, we beat Nottingham Forest 5-0. It was like petrol.
That's the best game,
it was like petrol to a fucking car. We just battered them, and we they would have seen the state of us.
Electric or petrol? This is 2026 now.
No space petrol.
Still petrol.
No,
sorry. Diesel. On Lenin? Or what?
No, it was honestly that's how good we were.
Yeah, and for both of you, obviously there was so much emotion attached to the '89 FA Cup final, all Merseyside. After everything that had happened with Hillsborough.
Listen, that's the only time I felt sorry for Everton, because I think that under normal circumstances,
yeah,
the neutral would probably want the underdog to win. In England, like the underdog, but I think because of Hillsborough, everyone wanted Liverpool to win. Yeah. And what people have to understand is that Evertonians would have suffered in that as well. They would have lost relatives. It's just got nothing to do with Liverpool Football Club. It's a Liverpool City. Scousers have died. So it doesn't matter if you're Everton or Liverpool. So unfortunately for them, we got much more sympathy than them, but they would have lost relatives in that as well, and friends and stuff. So it was a special, and I'm glad. And when people talk about the trophy that you wanted to have won, we're back from the Champions League, but that you won the league, and under normal circumstances, I would always choose the league. Bill Shankly said it, league's the most important thing, but for that 1 year, and because of Hillsborough in the FA Cup, I think that I would sacrifice anything for the FA Cup.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And how do you look back on that final night against Arsenal? Again,
we don't. Next, we'll just not talk about that now.
I do.
Because people must ask you all the time about taking the ball to the corner flag.
If Barnes were doing the corner
but
flag,
not only that, you see, because we have to understand is that everyone's different and always a fan. So, it would hurt Aldo more than it hurts other players because he's a fan as well. So it hurts us as players, but it hurts him as a fan as well, right? So, and forget about the ramification taking to the corner and, Aldo missed the open goal and stuff like that when he came on.
Too honest.
However, but here's the thing.
Too honest.
Because I don't look at that game. I look at it because, sometimes when we won and we should have lost, remember?
Yeah.
And no one says we should have lost, we're lucky, but remember we're unlucky and we should have done this. So I look at it just holistically as a whole, which then means that I look at it when I then come off the pitch and then how devastated you are. And we came in and run him around and then he just went, pre-season training July the 5th. He didn't wallow in self-pity in this spirit. How I explain this is the year before when we won the league and we came and expected this huge party. You just had a medals in a plastic bag, pre-season training on July the 5th. We didn't make a song and dance about it. Because what do you have to do? You have to do it again. And how do you keep that hunger of doing it again? You forget about it. Then when we've lost, bit of an argument, pre-season training. And we didn't wallow in self-pity and despair. We never raised ourselves.
But what he did, so
you have to give 100%. If you win, you lose, you lose. That's it.
When he came on, he said, big heads. You should win this medal. Make most of it because it starts again soon.
And I'll tell you why. Because, when you talk about what ambition and the repetition of success, and he said, what's your ambition? Your ambition is to win the World Cup. Your ambition. Pele won the World Cup when he was 17. He's fulfilled his ambition. Should he just retire then? No, it has to be the repetition to do that again. And how do you keep that hunger? I've won it, forget about it, I'll do it again.
And it's hard.
So then, when you've lost, it also has to be the same thing. You've lost, you forget about it. You don't forget about it and say, I don't really care. But as long as you give 100% effort and commitment, if you win, you lose, you lose.
Do you know, just going back on that side, I don't know, like the two seasons, if you looked, you accumulated the amount of goals that we scored between us, Barnesy, me, Peter, and Ray.
Ray chipped in.
And then Rushy come the following. If you look at the amount of goals, and for a left winger, I'm not just, pumping you up, but like for the amount of goals he scored, like his goal ratio. All right, thanks, mate. Cheers, pal.
He does it all the time and he wants to keep a tenner.
The rate of his goals is ridiculous for the left hand. I'm fucking keeping that.
Please notice keeping it, opposite.
I'll get back
Well,
off him.
you got 28 with Liverpool when the
I played up front that year.
Yeah.
That 1 year, I did play up front for a lot of the games. And it's so funny because, and I don't know, you must have spoken about this before. I don't know his hair and stuff like that, but you must have spoken about it before because, when Rushy came back, it was just, as much as, Rushy's coming back, you're going to get Rushy back. It was, and of course for Aldo, we all know the situation, but we needed to take him back because it's Ian Rush, but we didn't need to take him back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you had Aldo and when you had Aldo and Peter, and in many respects, even if Peter's going to play with Rushy, but then you remember when he came back and Kenny was sometimes playing you and Rushy and he's trying to fit this thing in. Yeah. And as much as it's like, in reality, it's a little bit like what's happened this year. Because once Ekitike came and you're looking at that, but we've gone all the way down with Isaac, so you've got to have Isaac and Ekitike, now you're going to fit them all in with blah, blah, blah. Whereas, when Ekitike came in, and if we hindsight, look at what he's doing and have that, did we really, but we already gone down the line with getting Isaac back, so we really had to get him. So is that really going to work? So, at that time, as I said, we had to get Rushy back because he's coming back, so of course we're going to get him, but that kind of destabilized everything.
Liverpool's philosophy was, and you get it the older you get, because, they couldn't allow Ian to go to another
Man United or anywhere else.
Absolutely. No, you couldn't do that. I get that. But, we did try different. And to be honest, when they played with Ian, either he scored or I scored. But
the nature of the team, forget about scoring, the way we played as a team, the balance was different.
The balance was a bit different because we were a little bit like each other, although we could play with big time, we could play with each other, because if you got a football brain, which we all in that squad had football brains, you adapt.
But it's okay. You two play with each other, but you two play with each other in terms of who's then going to come to do all of that. Neither are you going to do that. So you can play with each other, just the two of you.
We can play with
each other. If
you put Peter in there, it's a better blend because it was made for one striker, not two strikers. But
Beach Rush, Keegan Toshak, Ian St. John, and whoever else. So
right, I remember one game we played Tottenham in that season when he come and he played the three of us up front, and I thought, this is going to work. I forget you played, obviously, and I forget. It didn't work. We ended up drawing. Because
you'd have to leave one of the midfield players out. And then, so the balance isn't going to work.
And I went, for fuck's sake. Because I was thinking, if this works, wow. Rushy, me and Peter and I don't know, I forget actually how, I must look. It was Tottenham 1-1 it was. And we struggled like hell.
The thing about it, but it's so interesting to look at it now, because you would have thought this season was Versatility and Ekitike, Isaac, great players, Gakpo, got more, it's got to work. But no, because the balance doesn't work that way.
That's when you got to look at the management and the people the other side to make, like when I said with Kenny done it, he's taken away all Rushy's goals and his creation and this, that and the other. They've come up with this plan. Like last year, when we won the league, I'd love to know what the plan was.
The plan was?
I'd love to know what the plan was. Because whatever it was, I know we've had injuries and all that, it's just not fucking worked.
The plan was for Trent to create and Mo to score. And everybody else works hard and fits into that. Now when we have a team where Versa's going to be creative, Ekitike is going to be creative, Isaac's going to come and do his thing, it doesn't work because there's only one ball, and when you lose the ball, all the players have to be happy they're not big part players. They all have their value, but then you have to have definitive roles for everybody. Whereas now, Vert is playing so well, Ekitike don't, but they're playing well individually. Whereas because who would have thought Endo and Chiesa coming in is really going to help us do anything, but it did because we knew what the roles were. So, it's a completely different thing. But I remember when Rushy came back, and all of a sudden it was like, well, because we're so, and because Rushy is like Aldo. But then if all of a sudden either Aldo and Rushy are going to play, and then as he said, we played 3 times, and he's trying to fit this thing in with great individual players, but it just didn't work. Yeah.
No. Well, that was the end of part 2. Went on a bit late, but it was really good, intriguing. And we'll be back shortly with John Barnes.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was set far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in.
John, when I think about your playing days, I think of it in like 2 different elements. One, the flying winger, and then the kind of midfield controller, which obviously came off the back of you rupturing your Achilles, wasn't it, in 1992. How easy did you find that in terms of that changing the way you play?
Well, Interestingly, after I ruptured my Achilles tendon playing for England against Finland just before the Euros, I saw the surgeon obviously a few years later, and he said when I did it, they thought I wouldn't play again. They never said that because it was such a bad rupture, because not only did it rupture, it frayed, so they couldn't actually stitch it. So by the time I was playing, and I came back quickly, I came back in maybe 6 or 7 months, and you don't know that you're not really running around as quickly as you think you are, but then looking at television and seeing people run past you. So I had to change the way I played. So it was forced on me, and I was only 29, so I wasn't old.
Yeah.
So I had to do that. But fortunately, as I said, the way I was brought up, not talking about that, but the way I played for Watford meant that the team is the most important thing. And at Watford, I understood how to play in different roles. Just to give you an example, I played for Watford against Liverpool. And playing against Liverpool, I'm a winger. I'm scoring goals. Playing against Liverpool on the Saturday, we didn't do any training on the Saturday. We're playing against Liverpool. Graham Taylor picks a team. He goes, you're playing in midfield to mark John Walk. Walk was an attacking midfield player.
Good player, by the way, John Wall.
So he said to me, and an attacking midfield player, and I'm a left winger, and he said to me, you're playing in midfield today. He's playing on the left wing, Will Rostrum. You're going to play in midfield and you're going to man mark John Walk. Now, how am I going to do that? But because I knew how to play in every position. Because when you play for Watford, you have to appreciate how to play in every position. So you know how to play in that position. And when I go to play centre midfield, I'm not going to play centre midfield like John Barnes, who's going to dribble and do what he does. I'll play it like Kenny Dalglish or play it like Ronnie Whelan. So you have to understand that. So I knew how to play in different positions. So to answer your question, when I went to play there, I understood that me going into that position now, we have Steve McManaman, Robbie Fowler, Matt Redknapp to attack. I then have to play like a Ronnie Whelan as best as I could. Now, I'm not going to tackle, but I'll try and keep the ball. So I understood that. So it wasn't, and the fact that I'm still playing, and I felt I could not be the same player to get all the glory because I'm not the same player, but I could, the young team, I could help them. So as much as, I'm going to be a different player, it wasn't an issue for me.
Yeah.
Do you know, can I just say something quick? Because that's intriguing. When I was trying to be a manager, obviously, you listen to things, and I knew some great old school managers, and I used to, like, every now and again, and the players didn't like it, I put 11v11 on. And every 5 minutes, the player would change positions. So the right back would go to centre back, right centre back, left centre back, left. So they'd go like that. And then they both do just to get the feel of how it is. Because you might just, in a game, be in that position to sort it out. And they hated it. But I don't know where it come from. Someone told me that. But
you know the good thing about that? You know the good thing about that?
It gets you the football brain.
Not only does it, what it gives you is an appreciation of what taking that position.
Absolutely.
So we're never going to midfield play again. What are you doing that for? You go in there and see, and then because you appreciate how hard it is in there, and a different role, you're back to play. But it's more to do with the fact that every position has a requirement. Yeah. And that's why you see, for me, I could go and do that, and I still played for England for 2 years in that position. I played for 5 years, not the same player. People are going blah, blah, blah. But that's where you see someone like Mo now will find it difficult, because Mo is going to slow down. Now, can Mo go and play in a different position? Because if Mo's not doing that, can he do something else? So I was fortunate that because I was brought up, I understood how to play. Use Ronnie Whelan. When Ronnie Whelan played left side midfield, then he played centre back. Now, he's not going to play centre-back like Ronnie Whelan, so you have to understand how to play in these positions. And that's why Stephen Nicol, that's the best thing about Liverpool, the versatility of those players. So Stephen Nicol scored a hat-trick playing right back at Newcastle, played centre-back, played centre-forward, Ronnie Whelan the same.
He played left-back?
Yeah, played left-back. Yeah. But that's my favourite left-back to play with, Stephen Nicol.
No, I get it,
So I understood how to play these roles. And as much as the fans are going to look at you and you go, again, Barnes is not doing that anymore. Even though sometimes I got the ball and I thought, I can dribble it because I'm John Barnes, I can still do it. But I don't know, in this position, I'm here to get the ball to give it to Steve McManaman or to give it to Jamie Redknapp. As much as I said I want to do that. But the fans are going to appreciate that. They're just going to see Barnes is not doing that. So it's an appreciation of what it takes for the team and a responsibility for the team.
Yeah,
great show.
How do you look back on Souness's time in charge? What was he like?
I think that Graham Souness was the right manager at the wrong time. Because look at what Arsene Wenger when he came and he's changed everybody drinking and stuff. So Suey's trying to do that. Yeah. Now, obviously, if Suey's been one of the lads who's doing that, then he comes back. I think he just did it in a much more confrontational way. Arsene Wenger said to Tony Adams, blah, 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 but he would come and he'd go, you're not doing it because I'm saying that. And I think what he did,
a little bit more leeway,
he should have. And the worst thing he did, I think, which, is that Liverpool's thing was always you learn from the senior players. When I came to Liverpool, I learned from what you saw. You have to learn. So even when Kenny and Suey played and running around the coach, they'd go, you lot sorted out. The senior players were the ones who did everything. Yeah. Now, obviously, then the younger players came in and you learn from what you saw, lots of senior players. When he then came, the Premier League were changing, which meant that all of a sudden you have 6 new players coming in. So they don't know the Liverpool way because there's 6 new players coming in. And secondly, he then fell out with a lot of the senior players to try and get rid of all of them. And he got rid of all of them, apart from me and Russia were the last 2. So the young players who had no direction then became more important than the senior players. So I was 23 when I came international, but any of the young players at Liverpool were not more important than the senior players, no matter how good you were. When Rushy's scoring goals, he's not more important than Sammy Lee, who is even maybe on the bench. Whereas I think Suey empowered these younger players, and he'd have meetings, and the senior players were just marginalized, pushed to the side, and I think that. So, but his thought process, method of stop drinking, eating properly, all that kind of stuff was right.
It was too drastic.
It was just too soon. This was in '92. Wenger did it in '96. You know what I mean? And Alex Ferguson had a problem with Robson and McGrath and all of them. So of course, he was given enough time to bring these others through. So that transitional period was a bit hard on Graham, but he had the right idea. It's just the way he did it in a confrontational way.
Barnes, the biggest example was the Man United lot. Because we knew them great lads, all of them great lads, but Fergie had to nip in the bud and drastically. Paul McGrath, who for me is one of the best centre halves that's ever played.
Considering how much he drank, the bad knee.
Because of the discipline side of it and the bad frozen shoulder, at the time, not just Paul, but the gang who was going out all the time. He made a mark by doing what he did, whether he regretted it or what. But Man United would have been a better team over the years with Big Paul in it. Even though if he'd had a bevy or whatever, he was just on a different scale.
But the thing about it, is not. It wasn't about McGrath, Robson, and Whiteside. It was not about them. It's about the influence it had on the younger lads.
That's right.
So it's not about you can do what you want, but if you're going to influence these to do the same thing, because you can handle it, they can't handle it. So therefore, he had to do that, but for these to be brought up. Whereas the thing at Liverpool was that you do what you want, you're going to get drunk. So therefore, if that's what you're going to do, and the players and the young players would be encouraged to do that as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be part of that. So it's not so much Ferguson worrying about Robson and McGrath. He's worrying about the others coming behind them.
And then Roy Evans follows him, a very different type of personality, I guess. And
and of course, but then football was changing then. So football was changing when all of a sudden you needed coach. You're going to come in and say, this is what we're going to do. I'm the coach. You're going to do X, Y, Z. We're going to tell you. We're going to coach you. We're going to do what you say. Liverpool never did that. They never coached you. Liverpool's philosophy was the players come and they just play. So therefore, when all of a sudden these young players now need guidance and coaching, Liverpool didn't do that. You just go and you play. Now, obviously, that worked in the past and it didn't work then. So that's when I think that football started to change for Liverpool to then say, we have to get away from this Liverpool way and get a coach who's going to come in and coach the youngsters and bring them up in a way that is more modern rather than just thinking, you do whatever you want and you turn them to play and you just play.
Yeah.
And then the summer of 97, after 10 years, you left for Newcastle. How tough was it to leave?
Well, what I love more than football, how tough was it for me to leave after 10 years at Liverpool? How tough was it to leave his home club? Think about that.
Yeah.
And why he left is because what he loves more than Liverpool is he loves football and he wants to play. Now, of course, he was at his prime. That must have been much harder for him. For me, I still come to the end of my career. I wanted to play, so I know I'm not going to play at Liverpool regularly. I'm going to go and play at Newcastle. So therefore, it was an easy decision because I love football and I want to play. Listen, I love James Milner and I love players like James Milner. However, if I come to the end of my career, am I going to go to a big club to be on the bench and to play 6-7 games and come on now and again, which he did at Liverpool for the last 2 years, which he's actually doing at Brighton now, which is great. However, I would much rather go to a smaller club and play every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So therefore, so as much as it was difficult for me to leave Liverpool, but I knew I wanted to play regularly, and that's why I use Aldo as the biggest example of that, because he's at his home. This is where he is, and how is he now going to give that up? He could have stayed at Liverpool and he would have played and he would have been on the bench and he would have played some games and he would have, probably played more than they're playing now, but he want to play every week, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to play every week.
Yeah, to be fair, the door was shown and what
did you just say?
The door was shown.
I thought he said the dough was shown.
I thought the dough as well.
You thought he said to me.
Knowing him the way I know, I thought he's talking
It's a Freudian slip, Aldo. The dough was shown and I left.
Oh, big stuff. No. Never do that. No.
That's called a Freudian slip, people. You know what that is?
The door.
The dough was shown.
You become a southerner now, haven't you? Don't you go there. You're a fucking German, you cunt.
The dough was shown. Somebody slipped on there, didn't you?
Not a joke.
I couldn't believe he said it because I've said that all the time. He's never admitted it. And finally he's gone, the dough was shown. And
Do, there's do and do.
Which one was shown?
Do.
Which one's bigger, the door or the dough?
The door, of course. No, people knew I like, look, I was absolutely gutted. No, I had the best years of my life. Obviously, playing for your team that you adored, with players that you adore.
Adored?
Playing, adored. And then for Ireland at the same time, we were flying and all that. It was just so good. Yeah,
but listen, I'm a believer in fate. And fate is the big thing. And as much as you talk about
I believe in
disappointed,
fate,
you would not have given them that opportunity. I mean, looking back, you can say, I wish I said at Liverpool, but what you did in Sociedad and what you achieved and stuff like that, you cannot regret doing that.
No.
John, just very briefly.
And if you had your time again, you'd have to do it. You'd have to do it.
Don't regret.
We recorded Litmanen the other day,
Yeah.
and you were recalling some of the most special moments of your career, and it wasn't at Liverpool. It was when you played, when you walked onto in the Camp Nou
Sociedad.
for Sociedad, and you said like, as much as you love Liverpool and your best moments are here, but you have made experiences there that otherwise you
The
would have
best
never
moments at
made.
Liverpool, but the experience walking around the Camp Nou, fuck me. That's just that.
Can't give that up.
It's just like Lions. That's a gladiator arena. And imagine, well, obviously I played there 3 times, scored 2 goals in each game. We never got beat there, Sociedad, you know. And that was just what a ground that always stuck in my head. I want to play at. But to see it in full view.
And they got given the trophy.
Didn't they? I'd see them getting the trophy, 110,000, then beating them 3-1. You just and score 2, and you think, that's when I was a kid. Watching it in S4C. That's the only time you used to watch the Spanish football. Channel 4 Wales and all that.
You're glad you went then, didn't you?
In the end, yeah. No, to be fair, I would have stayed there. I would have stayed there. Only Joan, she's a family. She wanted the family, and we came back. And I don't do get 10 years of trying, but I loved San Sebastian, the Basque people. I would have stayed there. Absolutely, yeah.
And look, when it was all over for you, then John, you stayed in the area. You are a local. You are seen on Castle Street on a regular basis.
Well, more on the world. More on the world.
Yeah.
You're thinking that's bad. Try Birkenhead. Never mind flipping Castle Street. All I'll tell about Birkenhead. No, because what I always say that it's about the people.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's about the people. I did the thing at Liverpool. I was on Liverpool TV today and asked me about the cop and, what's Liverpool. I said, listen, it's about the people, Evertonians included.
Oh, yeah.
It's the people of Liverpool.
Very much so.
And then when you have identified with them, because it's a socialist city, and I have sort of left leanings from my family's background, growing up in Jamaica. My mom's family started the first Jamaican government and they started the workers' unions. They're an elite upper class family, but they recognize the responsibility to the people. And that's what Liverpool is. It's not about hierarchy. Bill Shankly, it's out there talking about a socialist club. It's not about the club, it's about the fans.
Right.
It's also about the people in the city. And you have to have that relationship with them. And you can't be nose in the air and I'm more important than you. Other clubs can, whereas Liverpool players, it's a bit different now, but in the old days, you have to walk around and be like one of the people. And that's why I was at Watford. Watford was a community club. Liverpool is a community club. So after leaving Liverpool Football Club, I'm still a Scouser.
I must say, John, that's a topic that...
He just said he's a Scouser.
I love it, yeah.
And you know
Adopted
what?
one.
Normally, I'd tell him to fuck off. But I love him so much.
One,
and I'm very proud that he said that. I really, really am, because... We see him as a Scouser now as well, and I see him as a
Irish.
Don't you start me. Don't start me. I'm very proud to have had Barnesy on our podcast.
But
the only thing is now, what he's got to do now is the quiz. Unfortunately, he might struggle in this little quiz.
I will struggle.
Because Yari Littman just got like 6 out of 6, didn't he?
Smashed it out of
What questions are they though? Are they all those questions or intelligent questions?
They're very intelligent. They're not pornographic, unfortunately. You get 6 out of 6 on them, but they're
not on me because I know nothing. And how many goals off? I know nothing. So if they're on me, I'll get none out of none.
They are on
Some
you.
of this has got to be edited, you know.
Sorry.
They're nice.
It's James. He does the question, so don't blame me, mate. So, well, James, fire away.
Right, John, number 1. Who else made their Liverpool debut on the day that you made your debut at Arsenal in 1987?
That must be Peter Baird.
Correct. I told you, nice and easy.
Easy enough.
Right, so number 2, you scored 2 hat-tricks for Liverpool. Who were they against?
Cool.
I was there for
2.
one of them.
Well, Crew was one.
Yeah, I was there for the other one.
Did I score another hat? I did not score another hat trick.
It wasn't when I was there.
Coventry.
Correct.
Yeah.
6-1.
For that, yeah.
You're already better
You
than
know-
Steve Nicol.
You know, Spike.
Was he drinking?
He was on his
Nicol's
6
pissed,
pints,
man.
but now,
You were 1-0 down after about 3 minutes. That's
Yeah.
right. Kevin Gallagher.
Yeah.
Won 6-1. Number 3. You won the Football Writers Footballer of the Year award twice. Only 2 other Liverpool players have ever won that award
You might
2
spoil
times
this.
or more. Can you name them?
That's all. To be fair, I'd
That's true. I think there's a bit of a
Mo
trick.
Salah?
Correct.
Yeah.
Salah's
one.
won it 3 times, and then someone else has won it twice.
Oh,
Same
well,
as you.
Modern, before, after me? Give me a clue.
No,
Before you, just
Yes.
before.
Before I'm with
All right.
you.
Oh, yeah. Rushy.
Oh, no,
Kenny.
give it the
Kenny, I was going to say
Half
Kenny
a
as well.
point.
Yeah,
That's half a point.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to
yeah.
say Kenny. I was
Not
going
bad.
to say Kenny.
Number
I
4.
didn't want to give him the satisfaction. Only joking, King Ken.
When you scored 22 league goals in 89-90,
Yeah.
you were just 2 behind the First Division's Golden Boot winner.
Oh,
Who was it?
Didn't you get a
Gary
golden
Lineker.
boot? I'll
Gary
lend you
Lineker.
mine for a
Gary
couple of days.
Yeah.
Which one do you
However,
want?
because I scored more in the cup, I'd scored more goals than him, but he scored more league goals.
Right, yeah,
Who's
yeah.
this?
And it should be goals, it should just be league goals, shouldn't
Who
it?
is it?
Gary
It was-
Lineker.
Oh, all right. You got that one, did you?
Yeah.
I knew that.
You better than what I thought, actually.
3.5 out of 4. Number 5, you made 407 appearances for Liverpool. Who was your final game against?
Oh, that's good.
May
You never
97.
forget that. You never forget that.
May
Don't-
97.
Don't fuck this up. Come on.
Wasn't Wimbledon, was it?
Oh, no. Don't go there. No.
It
no.
wasn't Wimbledon,
Come
just in
on.
case you were thinking of it. No. It was someone
Yeah, he
else.
didn't say it. He
No, he
was
didn't say
thinking of
it,
it.
just
Yeah,
think
yeah.
so. It was Wimbledon.
Got another
Yeah,
chance.
you're right. It was.
Not a clue. I'm not a clue.
Sheffield Wednesday.
How am I going to get that?
Don't know. It's your life.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was going to be the last game, did I? So I didn't think about it. Did I?
Hey, you should know your final game.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
Fuck's sake.
yeah, but you knew it was going to be a final game when you played?
It doesn't matter. You know your final fucking
So, you know,
game.
so when you came out that final game and he came out against Crystal Palace, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that one, yeah.
So you know it's going to be a final game.
That's
So you
not the
remember
final
it.
game for
No, but the point I'm making is that I didn't know it was going to be a final
My
game. But I'll be
final,
back.
hey,
That's
yes,
all.
one for you. My final game for Oxford United was Watford.
Yeah, I
Before I joined Liverpool, got beat 1-0. He played for Watford, man of the match.
I've got a clue.
Right. And number 6, you scored 108 goals for Liverpool. Who was your last goal against?
I didn't know my first goal. It didn't bother me scoring goals. That's why goal scorers know every goal they scored. My last goal.
You've got to know this.
Blackburn?
No, you've got to know this.
Think about it. It's a big game.
It's a
I
history
know,
game.
they're all big games.
No.
No.
Everton.
No.
United.
Yes.
Yay!
That's half a
I'll
point.
give you that.
Okay, 4
No,
points.
it's a full point. 1, 2, 3, 4
Bang average, basically, right? Bang
and a half.
average.
I knew. I'm pleased with that because I know nothing about
I
it.
don't know.
See, goal scorers remember every goal they scored. And I just don't
I remember every
goals
single
and stuff.
one.
No, I can't.
Absolutely. Especially the ones against Real Madrid and Barcelona. And
That's playing for your favourite team, Real Sociedad, not Liverpool. Oh, keep going, Liz. Don't remember his Liverpool goals. This is Real Sociedad goals and the bonus. You're the goal bonus. You're on as well, weren't you? Were you on the goal bonus?
No, wasn't.
You were, you liar.
that's
why you bought
at
that
the end of
flipping
my
big.
podcast with my ex-mate.
Let's do it from your big villa now in Spain. Portugal, paid for by Real Sociedad.
Oh. No, brilliant. G-Barnes is top class.